The last thing I expected was to lose my best friend over a broken camera. One moment we were laughing together, and the next he walked out of my life. I thought a simple apology would fix everything. But when I showed up at his door the next day, I discovered a secret that changed our friendship forever. What happened after that became the most unexpected love story of my life. Ethan Parker had lived in Seattle, Washington, for almost 3 years. At 24, he had built a quiet life for himself. He worked as a graphic designer, spent most evenings at the gym, and shared countless memories with his best friend, Noah Bennett. Ethan and Noah had met during their freshman year of college. What started as a random conversation in a crowded cafeteria had turned into a friendship that survived graduation, career changes, and every challenge life threw at them. They were opposites in many ways. Ethan was calm, organized, and careful. Noah was spontaneous, outgoing, and always searching for the next adventure. Yet somehow they balanced each other perfectly. On a rainy Saturday afternoon, Noah texted Ethan, "I'm coming over." Noah never asked for permission. He simply appeared. Ethan laughed when he read the message. Doors unlocked. At the time, Ethan was finishing a workout at his apartment gym. When he returned to his apartment 30 minutes later, he was exhausted and sweaty. He quickly sent Noah another message. "Give me 10 minutes. Taking a shower." Noah replied with a thumbs-up emoji. By the time Noah arrived, Ethan was already in the shower. Noah entered the apartment using the spare key Ethan had given him months earlier. The apartment was quiet. He sat on Ethan's bed and waited. His eyes wandered around the room. Photos from college. Movie tickets they had saved. A framed picture of them standing beside the Pacific Ocean during a road trip. Noah smiled. He sometimes wondered why spending time with Ethan always felt different from spending time with everyone else. Before he could think about it longer, the bathroom door opened. Steam drifted into the room. Ethan stepped out. His hair was still wet from the shower. Noah looked up. For a brief second, he froze. Not because of anything inappropriate. It was simply the realization that his best friend looked different than he had ever noticed before. Stronger, more confident, more mature. For a moment, Noah couldn't explain why his heart suddenly beat faster. "Ethan," he laughed awkwardly. "You weren't kidding about all those gym sessions." Ethan rolled his eyes. "Don't start. I'm serious." Noah grabbed his camera from his backpack. Photography had always been his passion. He carried that camera almost everywhere. Before Ethan could react, Noah snapped a picture. Click. "Seriously?" Ethan laughed. "Another picture." Click. "No, I'm documenting history." "There is no history." "There absolutely is." Ethan tried to grab the camera. Noah jumped away. Both of them laughed. For several minutes, the apartment filled with the familiar energy that always existed when they were together. The kind of laughter that only best friends understood. Then things changed. Noah continued joking. Ethan became uncomfortable. The mood shifted. A misunderstanding formed between them. When Ethan moved toward him, trying to stop the teasing, Noah lost his balance. The expensive camera slipped from his hands. It crashed on a hardwood floor. The sound echoed through the room. Both men froze. The lens had cracked. The screen was shattered. Noah stared at it. That camera wasn't just equipment. It represented years of savings and memories. Ethan immediately felt terrible. "Noah, It's okay." But it clearly wasn't. Noah forced a smile. "It was an accident. I'm really sorry." "I know." Yet something in Noah's voice sounded different. For the first time in years, silence stood between them. A few minutes later, Noah packed his bag. "I should go. Don't leave like this." "I'm fine." But Ethan knew he wasn't. Noah walked toward the door. Before leaving, he paused. For a moment, it looked like he wanted to say something. Something important. Instead, he simply nodded and walked away. The apartment suddenly felt empty. Ethan stood there staring at the broken pieces of friendship scattered across the floor. He told himself Noah would calm down. He told himself everything would be normal tomorrow. But deep down, a strange feeling settled his chest. Because for the first time since they met, Ethan was afraid. Afraid that one mistake might have damaged something far more valuable than a camera. Ethan barely slept that night. Every time he closed his eyes, he remembered the look on Noah's face when the camera hit the floor. It wasn't anger that bothered him. It was disappointment. For years, Noah had been the person Ethan trusted most. The idea that their friendship might be damaged over a misunderstanding felt unbearable. The next morning, Ethan woke up with one goal: fix things. After work, he drove across Seattle to Noah's apartment. The entire drive felt longer than usual. His hands tightened around the steering wheel as he rehearsed what he wanted to say. "I'm sorry. I never meant for that to happen. You're my best friend." None of it felt like enough. When he finally reached Noah's apartment building, his heart was racing. He climbed the stairs and knocked. No answer. He knocked again. A few seconds later, the door opened. Noah stood there. His expression immediately softened when he saw Ethan. "Hey, hey." An awkward silence followed. Neither of them seemed to know where to begin. Finally, Ethan spoke. "I'm sorry." Noah looked down. "Ethan, no. Let me finish." Noah nodded. "I should have handled things differently. I shouldn't have pushed you. I know it was an accident, but I still feel terrible." Noah sighed. "Ethan, honestly, I don't think you're the one who should be apologizing." "What?" "I started taking pictures without asking. I kept teasing you when I could tell you were uncomfortable." Ethan stared at him. For a moment, both men realized they had spent the entire night blaming themselves. Then Noah laughed. A quiet laugh, the kind that released tension. And suddenly Ethan laughed too. Neither of them could believe how ridiculous the situation had become. The wall between them started to disappear. But Ethan wasn't finished. He reached into a bag he had been carrying. Noah frowned. "What's that?" Ethan handed him a box. Noah slowly opened it. Inside was a brand new professional camera. His eyes widened. "Ethan, I know it can't replace the memories on the old one." "Ethan, this is expensive." "I know. You didn't have to do this." "Maybe not." Noah looked at him. "But I wanted to." For a few seconds, neither spoke. Something emotional hung in the air. Something deeper than friendship. Neither man seemed ready to name it. Finally, Noah smiled. A real smile. The first genuine smile Ethan had seen since yesterday. "You know you're impossible, right?" Ethan grinned. "I've heard that before. Only about 1,000 times." Noah stepped aside. "You should come in." Ethan entered. The familiar nervousness that existed between them was fading, but another feeling was slowly taking its place. A feeling neither of them fully understood. Not yet. Over the next few hours, they talked about everything. Work, life, future plans, old college memories. It felt like old times. Yet Ethan noticed something different. Every now and then, Noah would look at him for a second longer than usual. And whenever their eyes met, Noah quickly looked away. At first, Ethan ignored it. Then he started noticing it more. Eventually, curiosity won. "Okay." Noah looked up. "What?" "Something's been weird lately." Noah nearly choked on his drink. "What do you mean?" "You tell me." Noah laughed nervously. "I have no idea what you're talking about." "You're lying." "No, I'm not." "Yes, you are." The room fell silent. Noah's smile slowly disappeared. Ethan suddenly realized he wasn't joking anymore. Whatever this was, it mattered. A lot. Noah looked toward the window. Rain tapped softly against the glass. For a long moment, he didn't speak. When he finally did, his voice was quieter than Ethan had ever heard. "Have you ever been afraid to tell someone the truth because you're scared you'll lose them?" The question caught Ethan completely off guard. What truth? Noah swallowed. His heart was pounding. Years of emotions sat behind those words. Years of feelings he had hidden. Years of pretending. "I think I've been keeping something from you." Ethan sat still, listening, waiting. "I didn't mean for it to happen." "No, I really didn't." His eyes met Ethan's. And suddenly Ethan understood. Not because Noah said the words, but because he didn't need to. Every memory from the last few years seemed different now. The late-night phone calls. The way Noah always showed up when Ethan needed him. The way he remembered every detail. Every birthday. Every bad day. Every success. Everything suddenly made sense. The realization hit Ethan like a wave. And surprisingly, it didn't scare him. Because deep inside, he had been feeling something too. Something he never allowed himself to examine. Something that suddenly became impossible to ignore. Neither of them spoke for several seconds. The silence wasn't uncomfortable. It was emotional. The kind of silence that happens when two people finally stop hiding. Noah looked away. I'm sorry. Ethan frowned. For what? For making things complicated. Ethan shook his head. You didn't. Maybe I did. Noah. Noah looked at him. Ethan's voice softened. You've been my favorite person for years. The words seemed to stop time. Noah stared at him, unsure whether he had heard correctly. What? Ethan smiled nervously. I just never knew why. The room felt smaller, warmer, more honest. For the first time, neither of them was pretending. Noah laughed softly, a laugh mixed with relief. You have no idea how long I've wanted to hear something like that. Ethan smiled. I probably don't. Their eyes met again. Neither looked away. For years they had stood on opposite sides of a line neither dared cross. Now that line no longer existed. Noah reached for Ethan's hand. A simple gesture, yet carried more meaning than 1,000 conversations. Ethan squeezed his hand back, and for the first time, everything felt clear. No confusion, no fear, no pretending. Just two people finally understanding what had been in front of them all along. Later that evening, they sat together on the couch talking about the future, about what this might mean, about how strange it was that a broken camera had somehow led them here. Noah laughed. Imagine explaining this story to people. Ethan laughed too. No one would believe it. Probably not. But neither of them cared, because the best things in life rarely happen the way people expected. 6 months later, Seattle looked different. Or maybe Ethan looked different. For the first time in years, he felt completely happy. The kind of happiness that didn't disappear when life became difficult. Noah was still his best friend. That part never changed. But now he was something more. A partner. A teammate. The person Ethan wanted beside him during every important moment of life. One autumn evening, they returned to the waterfront where they had taken pictures during a college road trip years earlier. The sunset painted the sky orange and gold. Noah carried his new camera, the same camera Ethan had given him. Smile, Noah said. Ethan laughed. You still take too many pictures. Impossible. Click. Another picture. Click. Ethan shook his head. Something's never changed. And thankfully, neither did Noah. After taking several photos, Noah lowered the camera. For a moment, he simply looked at Ethan, the same way he had looked at him countless times before. Only now he didn't have to hide it. You know something? Noah said. What? I'm really glad you broke my camera. Ethan laughed loudly. That's the most ridiculous thing you've ever said. Maybe, but if it hadn't happened, Noah smiled. We might still be pretending. Ethan couldn't argue with that. Life had a strange way of leading people exactly where they were meant to be. Sometimes through success, sometimes through mistakes, and sometimes through a single apology. As the sun disappeared below the horizon, they stood together watching the waves, thinking about everything that had brought them here. A friendship, a misunderstanding, a broken camera, an apology, and a love story neither of them had expected, but one they would never trade for anything. Because sometimes the most beautiful chapters of life begin with the words, I'm sorry. And for Ethan and Noah, those two words became the beginning of a lifetime of love. If you enjoyed Ethan and Noah's story, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. New gay romance stories are uploaded every day, and your support helps us bring more emotional and heartwarming stories to life.